have already seen the digestion and absorption of proteins in our alimentary canal. What you see here is the esophagus. Then here is the stomach. In the stomach there is the low pH because of hydrochloric acid, and the pepsinogen is activated to pepsin, resulting in the beginning of digestion. Look here on the wall of the stomach, we have the gastric glands in the stomach lining. This gastric gland contains parietal cells and chief cells and a gastric mucosa which secretes gastrin. And you can see here what they are secreting. And then here we have the duodenum. This is the first part of the small intestine, duodenum. Here the pH is 7. To the duodenum, the pancreatic juice is emptying. Pancreatic juice contains pancreatic enzymes. Here also zymogens are present. The zymogens are activated once they are reaching the site of action here. The zymogens are activated into active proteases and they further carry out the process of protein digestion. And here in the small intestine, the remaining part of the small intestine, absorption is taking place. Then this is the wall of the small intestine. Here we have the villus. They are projections, finger-shaped projections into the lumen of the alimentary canal. And then on the wall of those villus, there are the intestinal mucosa which are absorbing the amino acids. Let us see what is written here. The parietal cells and the chief cells secrete in response to the hormone gastrin. So gastrin is a hormone responsible to give a stimulus, to give a signal for the secretion by chief cells and gastric glands. And pepsin begins process of protein degradation. That is in the case of stomach. And the cytoplasm of hexacrine cells is completely filled with RER. It is a site of synthesis of zymogen of many digestive enzymes that you can see here. And the amino acids are absorbed through the epithelial cells, intestinal mucosa of the villi, and enter the capillaries. That is taking place here. Absorption is taking place here. And now we come to the amino acid catabolism. So the absorbed amino acids reach the cells. Here you can see dietary protein is digested and they are transformed into amino acids. Not only that, inside the cells proteins are broken down. Once the function of a protein is over, it's broken down into corresponding or component amino acids. Anyway, there are amino acids in the cells. What is happening to these amino acids? Some of them are broken down to release ammonia. We will study it, ammonia metabolism. Once the ammonia is released, the remaining carbon skeleton is used for making of the alpha keto acids. They are entering into the citric acid cycle to generate energy. So, the amino acids are broken down. One part is ammonia. That ammonia has a separate metabolism. The other part is the carbon skeleton. The carbon skeleton is transformed into alpha keto acids. For example, alpha keto glutaric acid, etc. And they are entering into citric acid cycle at different stages. And sometimes these intermediates of the citric acid cycle are transformed into oxaloacetate. Remember, oxaloacetate itself is a component of citric acid cycle. And it may be used for the synthesis of glucose by means of gluconeogenesis. So, breakdown of proteins can lead to the synthesis of glucose. Look at the diagram clearly. or they can be used for generation of energy. What about this ammonia? Ammonia is used for biosynthesis of amino acids. You might have heard of non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids should be supplied in diet, while non-essential amino acids can be made in the body itself. So this ammonia generated is used for the synthesis of the non-essential amino acids, synthesis of nucleotides and the biological amines. One function. Second function, the extra ammonia is to be excreted from the body. It is used for the synthesis of carbamoyl phosphate, especially in the liver, etc. It is used for the synthesis of carbamoyl phosphate, and by means of urea cycle, it is transformed into urea and it is excreted. In the urea cycle, it is excreted out of the body. And these are linked together. This urea cycle, an excretory pathway on one side, and the citric acid cycle, an energy generating pathway on the other side, are linked together. What's this? Aspartate, argininosuccinate shunt of the citric acid cycle, they are linked together. The amino groups and the carbon skeleton take separate but interconnected pathways. These are two separate pathways. Urea cycle is one pathway, while citric acid cycle is the other pathway. They are separate pathways, but they are interconnected. What about the deamination of amino acids? As I told you earlier, amino acids are used to synthesize liver and plasma proteins, or their carbon skeleton are converted into glucose and glycogen by gluconeogenesis. The ammonia formed by deamination is converted into urea. That is what we found in the previous slide. Here, this is glutamate, glutamic acid. Remember, this is the R group. It is being oxidized. What is ultimately produced is alpha ketoglutarate. What happened here? Ammonia is lost. So, glutamic acid, glutamate, by the loss of ammonia is becoming alpha ketoglutarate. This is a keto acid. This is a keto acid. This ammonia, as we found in the previous figure, may be excreted in the form of urea or may be used for the synthesis of other amino acids. The glutamate dehydrogenase of mammalian liver has the capacity to use either NAD or NADP+. Remember this one. Here what is written is NADP. The glutamate dehydrogenase of plants and microbes specific for one or the other. Okay. So this is the generation of ammonia from amino acids. And there is a topic in your syllabus, transamination. What is transamination? It is the transfer of an amino group from an amino acid to a keto acid. Look here, alpha ketoglutarate. Keto group is there. This is a keto acid. Glutamate, amino group is there. This is an amino acid. This amino acid is given to this keto group. So this will become an amino acid. And this instead, when this amino group is given, this becomes a keto group. This becomes a keto acid. That is what is happening. Here, L-glutamate is actually reacting with alpha ketoglutarate, and the amino groups are interchanged. You should read it like this: alpha ketoglutarate reacts with the amino acid. Read like this. Arrow mark. This is the alpha ketoglutarate. This is the amino acid. Alpha ketoglutarate has a keto group. This is the amino group. They are giving rise to glutamate. Which is the glutamate? This is the glutamate. Remember, this amino group is now given to the alpha ketoglutarate and this became glutamate. plus this one. This, by losing the amino group, became a keto acid. I think now it is clear to you. Alpha ketoglutarate combined with an amino acid. Alpha ketoglutarate combined with an amino acid, giving rise to glutamate and keto acid. This is the glutamate, this is the keto acid. Here what happened? This is actually transamination. The enzyme is aminotransferase. This amino acid donated its amino group to the keto acid. This keto acid, by accepting amino group, became amino acid. This amino acid, by losing amino group, became keto acid. Keep a note of it. And what is this? This is amino group catabolism. And this is taking place in the vertebrate liver. Excretory forms are sometimes ammonia, sometimes urea, sometimes uric acid. Accordingly, you have studied 3 types of organisms in your higher secondary classes: ammonotelic organisms, and ureotelic organisms, and uricotelic organisms. In ammonotelic organisms, the waste product, nitrogenous waste product, is ammonia, but ammonia is highly soluble in water. Its excretion requires a lot of water. Therefore, mostly aquatic vertebrates are having this type of excretion, ammonotelism. Because ammonia is highly soluble in water, it is toxic also once it is dissolving in water, and it needs to be excreted with a lot of water. So for those organisms which are living in an abundance of water can have this type of excretory pathway. While ureotelism, in ureotelic organisms, the nitrogenous waste product is excreted in the form of urea. Ureotelic animals are terrestrial vertebrates and shark, etc. And also you people, human beings, are also ureotelic in nature. Then what about uricotelism? The excretory product is uric acid. The excretory product is uric acid. Uric acid is not that much soluble in water, so its excretion requires the least amount of water or sometimes no water at all. Birds, reptiles, etc. cannot have a large amount of water in their body, and they cannot afford to lose a lot of water just for excretion of nitrogenous waste materials. Therefore, they are using uricotelism as the mode of excretion of nitrogenous waste. And look here, in one ammonium ion, there is only one nitrogen atom. In one urea molecule, there are 2 nitrogen atoms. And in one uric acid molecule, there are 4 nitrogen atoms. So, while these processes are gradually reducing the requirement of water for excretion, for every molecule of the waste material, they are excreting more of the nitrogen atoms. Their efficiency is increasing gradually. Okay, look here. In the liver, what is happening? Cellular protein is broken down into amino acids. Then by means of diet, by means of digestion, amino acids are obtained. I told you, alpha ketoglutarate by accepting amino group becomes glutamate. Alpha ketoglutarate by accepting amino group becomes glutamate. And what happens to this glutamate? This glutamate is also produced from other keto acids. Other keto acids, alanine from muscle, etc. are having amino group. They are donating their amino group to alpha ketoglutarate, and again glutamate is produced. In this process, other keto acids such as pyruvate are generated. So, from different sources, glutamate is produced. This glutamate is broken down into ammonia. How? By means of deamination. Glutamate is undergoing deamination to release ammonia. That ammonia is used for the formation of urea or uric acid, or is excreted as such. Remember, glutamine from muscle and other tissues are donating their amino group like this, and they become glutamic acid. Anyway, the ammonia is formed from different sources, but all of them are from amino acid metabolism. And this ammonia so produced is excreted either as such or in the form of urea or in the form of uric acid.